Imagine the team is looking at a big opportunity on the market, but at the same time, they need to think carefully before making any move. There's a very interesting player available, someone who could quickly change the level of the offense, but the cost to bring him in isn't low at all. So the big question becomes, is it worth taking the risk now or trusting what's already on the roster? Let's analyze all the details, but first click the like button and, if possible, comment. Go Seahawks! The latest update, coming straight from ESPN's Adam Schefter, has completely shifted the conversation around a potential blockbuster move involving Devin Achane. And if you're a Seahawks fan, this is where things get really interesting because what looked like a realistic opportunity just got a lot more complicated. According to Schefter, the Miami Dolphins are not willing to trade Achane and are instead planning to hold on to him for the long haul, even looking ahead to keeping him through the 2026 offseason. On the surface, that sounds like the door is closed, like Seattle should just move on and explore other options, but if you read between the lines here, this feels a lot more like positioning than a definitive decision. Because in the NFL, especially when you're dealing with a player of Achane's caliber, there's always a price. Teams don't just shut down conversations unless they truly believe a player is untouchable. And the reality is, Miami is in a very unique situation right now. They are going through what can only be described as a full-scale rebuild, with a new general manager, a new head coach, and a roster that still has a lot of holes to fill. That kind of environment doesn't exactly scream, hold on to a premium running back at all costs. It actually suggests the opposite. It suggests that if the right offer comes along, one that accelerates that rebuild, they would at least have to consider it. Now here's where things shift from speculation to strategy. The original trade idea that had been floating around involved Seattle sending a second-round pick in this year's draft, along with a seventh-round pick next year in exchange for Achane. At the time, that felt fair. It lined up with similar projections and valuations across the league. But now, with multiple teams showing interest and what's being described as a growing feeding frenzy for top-tier running backs, the price has clearly gone up. And that's the key detail Seahawks fans need to understand. This is no longer about getting a good deal. This is about whether Seattle is willing to outbid the rest of the league. And when you look at Devin Achane as a player, it's easy to see why that demand is rising. He's coming off a season with over 1,300 rushing yards, multiple touchdowns, and incredibly efficient production with very few mistakes, including just one fumble. This isn't just a good running back. This is a game changer. A player who can step into an offense and immediately elevate it with explosive plays, vision, and the ability to create something out of nothing, even behind less-than-ideal blocking. And that last part matters, because it shows he's not just a product of the system, he is the system. Now bring that into the context of the Seattle Seahawks. This is a team that right now is trying to redefine its offensive identity. There are questions in the running back room. Zach Charbonnet's health remains a concern heading into the season, with timelines that could push his return deep into the year. George Holani is a player the organization believes in, but he hasn't proven he can be that explosive breakaway threat. Kenny McIntosh is coming off injury, and while there's optimism, there's also uncertainty. Emmanuel Wilson fits more into that power back mold. What Seattle doesn't clearly have at this moment is that elite home run hitter out of the backfield. And that's exactly what Achane brings. He wouldn't just join the Seahawks, he would instantly become RB1 and the most explosive player in that entire group. The kind of player defenses have to account for on every single snap. The kind of player who changes how opposing coordinators build their game plan. That's not an exaggeration. That's the reality of what he's shown on the field. So now the conversation shifts to what it would actually take to get him. And this is where things get uncomfortable. Because based on everything coming out of Miami and the current market dynamics, the deal that likely gets it done is no longer a mid-round package, it's a first-round pick. Specifically, Seattle's 2026 first-rounder, which is projected to be pick number 32. From Miami's perspective, that's incredibly valuable. It would give them 3 first-round picks in a single draft, a massive boost for a team trying to rebuild quickly and efficiently. But from Seattle's perspective, this is where the internal debate really starts. Because giving up a first-round pick for a running back is always risky, no matter how talented that player is. And it's not just about the draft capital. It's about what comes next. Kane is going to need a new contract, and his projected market value sits around $12 million per year. That's a significant investment, especially for a team that reportedly wasn't willing to go above $10 million for Kenneth Walker. So you have to ask yourself, does it make sense to let one running back walk because of cost, only to trade premium assets for another who will likely demand even more? At the same time, there's a bigger picture here. Seattle clearly believes in the group they already have. They believe Charbonnet can bounce back. They believe in Holani's development. They believe McIntosh can return to form. And they liked what they added with Emmanuel Wilson. So this isn't a team desperate for a running back. It's a team that could elevate itself with the right one. And that's what makes this situation so fascinating. Because the opportunity is there. The fit makes sense. The player is elite. But the cost, both in draft capital and future salary, might be just high enough to make the Seahawks hesitate. So now it comes down to philosophy. Do you push your chips in and go get a dynamic weapon who could transform your offense overnight? Or do you trust the depth you've built and keep your long-term flexibility intact? If you're sitting in John Schneider's chair right now, knowing everything we've just laid out, are you making that call and offering a first-round pick for Devon Achane? Or are you walking away and betting on the current roster? At the end of the day, this situation says a lot about where the team is right now and how every decision can shape the future. It's not just about bringing in a big-name player. It's about understanding the cost, the fit, and what it means for the entire roster. Sometimes the most exciting move isn't the smartest one, and other times taking a risk is exactly what separates a good team from a dangerous one. It all comes down to the front office's vision and how much they believe in what they already have. Now, I want to hear from you. Would you go all in and make this move despite the high cost? Or would you trust the current roster and focus on the long-term plan? Drop your opinion, because it really matters here. And if you enjoy this kind of content, make sure to subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications, because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Go Seahawks!